Yo, she-bitch. Let's go.
Hello and welcome to Lazy Reviews. Today I'll be taking a quick dive into the character development of Ash Williams from the Evil Dead franchise. I'll talk about the development he goes through from the first movie until the end of the TV show. I made a much longer video about this where I go into detail about each movie, and this one will actually be spoiler free, or at least mostly spoiler free, because I'll be just giving you an overview. For more details, see the other video.
Did you speak the exact words?
Look, maybe I didn't say every single little tiny syllable, no, but basically I said them, yeah.
Ash Williams is this rather complex character played brilliantly by Bruce Campbell. He's fantastic in it, and it really is what makes this franchise so awesome, so fantastic, so memorable.
Well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants.
And it's therefore worth going into what makes him such a memorable character, and it's actually probably much more complex than you might first think.
Good. Bad. I'm the guy with the gun.
In the first film, he does start out as this quite lovable, relatable character. He has much more of a backseat. He has quite little agency in the movie. Not really one who causes much of the plot to happen. It's more the people around him who spark the plot developments, not so much him. Until, of course, at some point he has to take action. He's the only one left capable of seizing control of the situation. He's shown to be much more downplayed. He is friendly. He seems to be liked by his friends, but he's no macho. He's no alpha. That role is more reserved for his friend in that group. He is laughing, always smiling. He has these cute little games going on with his girlfriend. He's overall very likable. And he becomes even more relatable and more realistic, more grounded. When shit hits the fan, he panics. He's unable to spring into action. He's unable to fight these entities that are now possessing the bodies of his friends. And so much of what he's doing in this movie is realistic in that sense. It feels like what the audience would do, or at least most audience members would do if they were in a similar situation. They would be caught off guard. They would be terrified. They would be just wanted to get out of it. They would panic. And that's the character we have here. He's not completely cowardly. He does manage to pick himself up and do something to get out of this mess he's in. But doing so, he's honestly just quite ruined mentally and physically by these experiences and what he endures in this movie. And that does transform into, in the second film, he actually changes character quite a bit. The changes to his character are not really well described in terms of how the movie treats it, the plot treats it. It's just that now he's a different character. He's much more charismatic. He's still likable, but now a likable jerk, a likable idiot. He is so confident, so full of himself that it leads to him making a lot of mistakes or putting himself in further harm's way. Or when he's about to be rescued from a situation because, yes, he's not that capable that he can do everything by himself. He needs help from other people, whether he likes it or not. He can't do everything by himself, even if he, in his universe, is the king of everything.
But in my own way, I am king.
And there are scenes where he could more easily escape a situation if he had just kept his cool, but he can't. This situation he's put in, this evil he's fighting, has him so terrified, has him so tortured, mentally tortured, that he actually develops this innate hatred, a sadistic desire to destroy evil. He laughs, he smiles, he jokes, he makes one-liners when actually overcoming or slowly overcoming evil, and also evil manages to provoke him many times. He's controlled by his emotions. But that's not the only thing we get about him, because he is actually not that stupid. He is quite smart and quite intelligent for his background. We don't know much about his background, but we know that he works in S-Mart, which I guess is a big hardware store.
Shop smart. Shop S-Mart. You got that?
And he's really a handyman. He's a very tech-savvy. In the second film, he makes a chainsaw arm for himself in no time.
Groovy.
In the third film, he builds a Mad Max car, he makes gunpowder, he does all these things. Of course, he does have a book that helps him, but even then, it's quite insane how capable he actually is if he starts thinking about it. And I think that's the thing about him. He is actually a smart character, but he's so governed by his emotions, so governed by his smug attitude and his quite negligent attitude towards other people, their well-being, their interests, that he just puts himself in harm. And his emotions are not just those of hatred. He also shows a lot of love and affection in this film. Actually, it is his love and affection for his now ex-girlfriend that saves him in the second film. It's not something we see much. He's much more governed by lust than love, hatred, or the feeling of vengeance than he actually is of love, but it does show in the second film, it shows in the third film, it shows in the TV series. And again, he's also shown as still a coward when he's not on the top of the world, when he's not capable of taking on the situation. He screams, he yells for help, he begs for mercy, and that's how this film ends, and that's how the third film begins, with him being in a situation where, at first, before realizing what he's in, thinking he could maybe talk himself out of it, he's making fun of other people, he's talking down to them.
I got news for you, pal. You ain't leading but two things right now. Jack and shit. And Jack left town.
And then, once he realizes the gravity, he does everything he can to escape the situation. He really just doesn't want to fight evil. There's a prophecy that he will actually be the savior of the world. He's the only man who can fight the Deadites, who can fight the evil. And he just doesn't want to take on the responsibility. And that's another layer of his character. That there is this destiny, and he does everything he can to escape it.
Hail he who has come from the skies to deliver us from the terrors of the Deadites! Hail! 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 No! No!
His entire life is about pleasure and leisure and living the easy way. To put your own self-interest in jeopardy, to save other people, to save humanity. To accept that, and then to act it out, is such a departure from who he is as a character that it does become quite meaningful, impactful when you see this development. And that does carry on through to the TV series, where he's shown is 30 years later, still just a womanizer, still very self-interested, he still works in a shitty job. He still really doesn't care too much about other people. He kind of uses them for his own gain. He has a bad relationship to pretty much everyone, and he's just a drifter who never takes responsibility.
Just like old times, eh, Pablo? Except for the wife part and no Kelly. Actually, it's not like old times at all.
And who, out of his own ignorance, confidence, righteousness, his own hedonism and substance abuse, unleashes evil on the world. And he kind of still doesn't want to take responsibility for banishing it, even when he's forced to, because it's chasing him and his friends. He wants to escape it, and it's only when he can't escape it anymore, or when it tries to harm his lifestyle of drinking and fornication, or when it jeopardizes his friends and family. It's only when these things are brought into jeopardy that he actually wants to face evil. He hates fighting evil. He hates fighting these things.
I didn't ask for this. You think I want this horse shit? Be covered in blood 24/7? Who the fuck would want that?
But he also understands he's probably the only one who's capable of doing it. And it is him slowly taking on this mantle that does make him a very interesting character. So in the end, he's so complex, and his complexity is so well displayed by Bruce Campbell, because Bruce Campbell understands how to play a jerk. Because yes, he is charismatic, but he's also an asshole. He's very capable of fighting evil, but he's also very reluctant to do so.
Yeah, basically.
He is quite stupid in most ways, but he's also capable of building traps and all these things. He's just a man of nuances. He is a coward, but a hero, a lover, and a careless fornicator. He's very much a traditional fool, and his foolishness kinda also sometimes makes him the villain, in that he's responsible for so many deaths through his actions, through his stupidity, through his self-indulgence, and he's never really able to take responsibility for it, or even to accept that he is the one doing this. He just wants to run from this. Run and live a life of self-interest.
But what of the things that we've shared? What of all the sweet words that you spoke in private?
Well, that's just what we call pillow talk, baby. That's all.
All these facets of his character, all these aspects, this is what makes him maybe the best horror movie protagonist of all time.
You're right, by God.
Oh, boy.
If you disagree with this, I want to hear your arguments for it. And also, if you have some other suggestions of who could be the best horror protagonist of all time, well, take it up with the king.
Hail to the king, baby.